Yo, what's up? Yo, what's up? What's up? Hold on, I'm trying to post this. What's good? What's good? We're live. This plus UFC fights. Yeah, I just lost. I just lost a $3,000 parlay off of SMU choking that game. I can't even fathom this. SMU gave up 14. We had SMU plus 16 and a half. They've given up 14 points for the entire game, and then they give up 14 in the fourth quarter, and they lose by 17 points. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? That is the worst thing ever that I just lost that. Oh my god, it makes me sick. Need one low-owned player for my flex on DraftKings. Mr. Incredible, give me the thesis of your lineup. Like, what's your stack? What's going on? I need to know more about your lineup. Jared, what's up? Yeah, haven't seen you in a minute, but I'm excited for NFL as well. Leroy Bad Beats. I can't believe this. I can't believe that they gave up 14 the entire game. They score to make it 14-11 to just give you hope, and then immediately they give up 14 points. That was insane. Lose by the fucking hook. Excuse my language. I'm sorry, but I mean, what are we doing here? All right. So if you guys are joining up, thank you. Typically, we're going to do this in Discord, and it's just going to be me kind of going through the slate. I'm going to answer your guys' questions. But apparently, I'm a boomer, and I can't get this. I can't get this Discord thing to work. So we'll just talk on here today. That's brutal. I can't believe it, Swaggy P. It was sickening. Sickening. Now, it's going to be a very good day betting-wise. So I guess, like, we can't trip too much. So no more final thoughts like last year now. Yeah, it's on the projections. So there's some players in there now. I'm going to add some more in there after I get off here. But it's the same color grades, and it has my name next to who I like as well. Are you still going to be live tomorrow morning? Yes, Austin. Mike, what's up? Mike, I got the Eagles gear on for you, buddy. Couldn't get to come up in Discord either. Yeah, Jared, I don't know. We'll fix it, and I'll be able to do it next week, but I don't want to keep people waiting because clearly, I don't know. I can't fix it, so we'll fix it for next week. Flagless flag, correct. 2v2 for FanDuel cash. Chase Olave or Tyreek Ridley. I think you got the second one for cash, Troy, but I like that first one for tournaments a little bit more. All right, so we'll kind of talk about things. Recap for betting today, looking pretty good. The struggle's real. The one, I don't know what. I did it last year, no problem. I don't know what's going on with that thing today. Let's see here. We had so we had I had Colorado money line, that one. We had the over 13.5 in the first quarter. Tulane, Ole Miss, that one. I have Texas plus 7.5 going in this game right now. It's 13-9. I have a two-way parlay. I had Ole Miss minus 6.5, UCF money line. So we'll see if UCF can clutch. But Ole Miss did win. I had a 5-team parlay. Kansas last night, Marshall, Georgia Southern, Wake Forest, and Maryland. All of those have won except for Maryland, who's down 14-9. So Maryland better not sell this. If I lose 2 parlays off of some bullshit, I don't know what I'm going to do. Herbert, Chubb, Bijan Robinson, Metcalf, Godwin, Steelers defense. Okay. So you got Herbert. Well, if this is Mr. Incredible, is this DraftKings or FanDuel? Let me know what site you're playing on. I'm going to run through the injuries. So there actually is more injuries this week than a typical Week 1 slate, DraftKings. All right, so your lineup is automatically going to be low owned, I think, Mr. Incredible, because the popular build this week on DK is going to be these cheap running backs and then spend up at receiver. So just based off the fact that you have Chubb and Robinson, I think you're going to be pretty unique based off that. For 6,900, I'm going to pull up our projections and share that on the screen, and we can look at that. Hold on one second. How do we feel about Deion Jackson? Z, I am not going to be playing any Deion Jackson, I don't think. He could have a decent game. I do like the game overall. I think it could shoot out. I think that Indy's going to play pretty fast. I think that Jacksonville's going to play fast. So I don't hate the game, but I mean, I think Richardson is going to take rushing work. I think Evan Hall kind of has some juice. So I think they're going to mix guys in. So I don't know. I don't want to tell you not to play him if it's like a huge tournament, but I'm probably not. I'm not going to have him in any of the stuff I play. I'm trying to pull these projections up. I don't know why it's not loading. All right, there we go. All right, let me share my screen here. All right, you guys should be able to see this now. Okay, so 6,900 on DK, you said. Let's take a look here. Who was in your lineup again? Let me see here. Travis Etienne, I think, is interesting for sure for tournaments. I don't think he'll be pretty high owned. You can see here, modest 13% projected ownership. I think Etienne is going to be lower owned than Mixon, so I don't necessarily know. I might need to update these ownership projections again. I do think Etienne will be lower owned than Mixon. I like J.K. Dobbins a lot. I know Matt really likes J.K. Dobbins. So he's very interesting at 6,600, I think. Chris Olave at 65, I think, is a pretty good play. So you definitely have some options for 6,900. I think you could go with any of those guys. If you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and ask. So for me right now, I currently have 2 lineups built. I have my cash lineup. I have my main tournament lineup. If you guys know me, you know kind of how I play. So I do play a lot of head-to-heads, cash games. For tournaments, I like to play the smaller field stuff. So I have like my main team for that. And then I'm going to build 1 or 2 more lineups. I haven't decided which ones yet. Coach Prime ruling college football and has a crusty white guy rolling on tilt. Yeah, people are mad about that. People are mad about him. Thank you, sir. Yeah, no problem. Definitely some options there. If I had to pick one, it might be Dobbins. I don't know. Matt's kind of sold me on Dobbins. I have him on my main tournament team. I am pretty interested in him. So I'm going to build 1 or 2 more teams. If you guys read my article, I'm sticking with Geno on my main tournament team. I'm going to be playing a Geno stack. I haven't decided if I have him paired with JSN right now, and I really don't think anyone's going to play Jackson Smith-Njigba. I think he's maybe super, super low owned. So I like that. But I am a little bit concerned about his wrist. I mean, he doesn't have an injury designation, so I think he's okay. But I am slightly concerned. But I think it's enough that literally no one's going to play him. And if you play JSN with Geno, I don't think it doesn't hurt you if JSN at his price only needs, low teens in points. So if Geno's out there and he throws a long touchdown to Metcalf or Lockett, I really don't think it hurts you because I don't think those guys are going to be super high owned. And obviously you get points for having Geno. So I don't know. I'm still sticking with Jason. I'm liking Olave. I think Chris Olave he's in my main tournament lineup. I think he's going to smash tomorrow. If you look at how Carr and Adams were connected, I think that Olave can definitely – I'm not comparing Olave to Devontae Adams, but Derek Carr is not bad throwing deep ball. I think Chris Olave obviously can occupy that role in this offense. And Tennessee, not a great secondary, really, really good run defense. So, and Jamal Williams, I think, is going to be pretty popular over on DraftKings. So you're getting a little bit of natural hedge just by having Olave instead of Jamal Williams, and it's a really, really good matchup. So agree, I really like Olave tomorrow. Texas is balling. What's the score? 13-9 still. Wisconsin's getting destroyed. That's surprising. I can't believe SMU. I really can't. I mean, what are we doing here? Pittsburgh came back. Who scored? Can someone let me know who has touchdowns for Pittsburgh? I mean, there's no shot Maryland loses this game, right? I mean, what are they doing here? Who is your cash game quarterback for tomorrow? I think on DraftKings, it's tough. I think on DraftKings, you probably want to spend down. I think it's probably Richardson or Sam Howell on DraftKings, but I don't know. I have a couple 2v2s I've been playing with that there's just nothing I love yet. So I haven't fully decided. I think you probably spend down though. On FanDuel, definitely Richardson's a better FanDuel play than DraftKings because you don't have to deal with the 300-yard bonus. And it's just more rewarding overall for running quarterbacks on FanDuel. So I do think Richardson's better on FanDuel, and I don't even love Richardson as a play, but given his price, I think he's fine for cash. Do you like Connor more now with no Young? I don't like James Conner that much. I guess Chase Young being out does boost the matchup, but I just don't have a lot of faith in Arizona's offense. Maybe that's a more reason to play Connor in tournaments. But I don't like him much. Mumfield, 2 TDs. Okay, thank you, Anthony. I appreciate that. I had an anytime touchdown bet on Hammond, but I don't know. I guess he's not. Maybe he'll score later on. He wasn't doing too great, so all Pitt's receivers are scoring. Yeah, that's unfortunate. They were down, though, so it makes sense they were throwing more. Geno Snack on FanDuel or DraftKings. I like it on both. I think that the Rams are going to have one of the worst defenses in football, and that's something we can take advantage of in week 1. I just don't think people really want to play Seattle tomorrow. So I think we can take advantage of that, and I really like the Geno Smith stack. Favorite running back play? That's tough. I think for cash, like I said, on DraftKings, I think it's going to be really concentrated ownership-wise on the mid-tier. I think there's a chance Austin Eckler picks up some ownership, but I don't think any of the high-priced guys will really get a ton of ownership. I think mid-tier is where people will be going there. Like I said, for tournaments, Dobbins, Rashad White, Alexander Madison, Travis Etienne. That's kind of the guys that I'm looking at. Cash games, probably Mostert is probably my favorite overall, just given his price tag. I really don't want to play Jamal Williams in cash, but I don't know. I think it's kind of hard to it's hard not to play him just because of his price tag. Like especially if Kendry Miller's out, I think it's tough. That's fine. So if you don't go with Jason, we'll be Lockett. I do lean Lockett over Metcalf. Yeah, I think you can double Geno if you want. You could play JSN and Lockett. You could play Lockett and Metcalf if you want. But I do lean Lockett over Metcalf if picking one. Yes. Quarterback on DraftKings, it's Lamar or Hal. Any cash game locks? Yeah, I think Mostert's definitely a cash game lock in my opinion. I actually lean Hurts. I lean Hurts over Lamar if you're picking a spend up guy. Personally, Chargers really shut down Mostert last year. I just don't really, they've had so many weeks to prepare for this matchup. And typically, Los Angeles doesn't have a very good run defense. No Jeff Wilson. They really don't have much behind him. I think A-Chain's going to be really good, but I don't know how much work they're going to give him, right off the bat, especially when he missed a good chunk of time in training camp. So I'm pretty fine with Mostert, especially because in cash, like I'm not going to play him really in tournaments, but in cash games, you're not going to need a ton from him at that price anyways. Puka or Atwell? I like Puka in tournaments over Atwell personally. I don't know. I just don't have much faith in Tutu. I understand why people like him, but I think Puka is like legit good. So if you're looking for a tournament play from the Rams, I would lean Puka over Atwell. Gabe, I think that answered your question as well, but I think he's good. I'm excited to see him play. I think he has actually like upside to be a decent real life receiver. So I would lean him if I was picking somebody from the Rams. I like Higbee the most. I'm hoping Higbee's price on DK keeps his ownership down. He's 4,800. I don't really see many people clicking Tyler Higbee at 4,800. I also want to note, since we're talking tight ends, I think that there is a chance Mark Andrews misses tomorrow. And if he does, I think it would be tough to not play Isaiah Likely in cash games. So we'll have to wait and see in the morning. But I do think that there is I think there's like a 40% chance that we get no Mark Andrews tomorrow. So if he's out, Isaiah Likely would be a really, really good play. Favorite run back with Geno? Yeah, like I said, I think Higbee for me. But if you want to skip Higbee and still use a cheaper receiver or cheaper tight end and then use like Puka as a run back, I think you can do that. That's part of the reason why I like the Geno stack so much is because on top of it being a great matchup, you can run it back so cheaply. You're either running it back with a $4,800 tight end or a $3,000 receiver. It's so cheap to run it back. Which Baltimore receiver do you like best if Andrews is out? Flowers? Yeah, Zay Flowers for sure, Ernie. I think even if Andrews is in, I think Zay Flowers is a fine tournament play. But obviously, if Andrews is out, that would increase my interest. But I definitely like Zay Flowers a lot. I think he's very good. I think he's going to have a good year. Who are you stacking on your third team? I honestly haven't decided yet. I think the Jags game, like that's in play, like playing a Lawrence stack. I think playing a Deshaun Watson stack is in play. I think playing just like a Sam Howell to Cole Turner. I wrote about that in my article. I think that's in play. For me, I haven't really decided, but we'll see. I'm going to be building my lineup probably later tonight. Any thoughts on Reed from Packers? I'm a big Jaden Reed fan. You guys can go check my Twitter. I've been tweeting about Jaden Reed all summer. I think he's a beast. I think there's a chance he's the best receiver from this rookie class. Like I think Zay Flowers can be very good, but I do think there's a chance Jaden Reed is just the best receiver. So I like him. If Dobbs is out, I really like him. If Dobbs is in, I still think he's in play. but better for tournaments. But so if you're asking Allen for tournaments, I think he's fine. I think he's a good player regardless. And everyone's going to be playing Musgrave. So you're automatically going to get, like, I don't think people will play multiple Green Bay guys. So you're going to get pretty good ownership on Jaden Reed, regardless of if Dobbs is in or out, I think, because I just don't know if people will be playing two Green Bay guys, and we may not get that Romeo Dobbs news until, close to their game, which will be well after lock. So I like Jaden Reed a lot for tournaments tomorrow. Baker, Bones, I don't know if I can do it, man. I think I'm sticking with Sam Howell if I'm going to play a cheap guy, but I understand it because I do think that game shoots out. But I would rather just play Kirk and two Minnesota guys and then get Godwin on the other side, I think. But, I'm not going to call anyone stupid. We've seen crazier things happen in week one. If you go back and look at the stuff that happens in week one, like, it's pretty crazy. There's some wild stuff that goes on. Cash wide receivers. I think there'll be a lot of ownership on all the expensive guys because of how the pricing is. I think Cortland Sutton will be decently owned. I think Calvin Ridley will be decently owned. And then I think that there'll be a lot of ownership on like Marvin got confirmation on that until after lock. So luckily there's guys that you can pivot to, Tutu, Puka, Jaden Reed. Like, there's guys you can move Mims to, but I do think Mims initially is going to be pretty high owned. What's up, Ben? Are you playing Richardson like the rest of us to tilt on Sunday? I have not decided yet, RJ. I do think he's going to be pretty chalky. I think that the chalk build on DraftKings definitely is going to be him. It's going to be like Richardson, Mostert, Jamal Williams, spend up on your receivers. I think that's probably going to be where most people go. I haven't decided if I'm going to play him yet. I'm not sure yet. If you're not in love with Jamal, do you like car stacks and tournaments? Yeah, Ernie. Honestly, that's it. That's in play for my third lineup as well. I didn't mention it, but I'm considering you could maybe do a Derek Carr, Chris Olave type thing, I think, for sure. You could even play Derrick Henry on the other side of the game in doing that. So I don't hate it. I'm trying to check these scores. Georgia Southern looking good. We have them in that parlay. Let's see here. UCF has the ball down 1 still. Texas still up 13-9. Rutgers. I don't think I ended up betting. Okay, Maryland's in the red zone, 1st and goal, so hopefully they can pull away from this Charlotte team. Wisconsin's still getting bopped. That's hilarious. Favorite tournament tight end? Ooh, I don't know, because I'm only playing a few lineups. So on my Geno lineup, I'm probably gonna have Higbee, and then I don't know. It's up in the air, my third team. So I don't know. I think that I like to use tight end on my stack, whether it be a double with my quarterback or a bring back on the other side. So if I play a Hurts team, I think Hunter Henry is a good tournament play on the other side. If I play Sam Howell, I like Cole Turner. Dewan just said Cole Turner. I like Cole Turner. That's definitely in consideration for me. And Cole Turner is going to be 1% owned. I don't think anyone's going to play Cole Turner. So that's one way we could be really different. If you stack Sam Howell at 4,900 with Cole Turner at 2,500, you're spending, $7,000 on your stack, and then you can just fill in high ceiling pieces around it from the other really good games. So considering that, but I do like Cole Turner tournaments. I like Tyler Higbee. I like Hunter Henry if you're playing Hurts stuff. I like David Njoku if you're playing Brown stuff. Or if you're playing Bengals stuff, you could use Njoku on the other side. That's probably my short list. Turner will eat in the offense. Y'all been warned. Yeah, so, I mean, Logan Thomas is going to be on the field, but we haven't seen them play. Like Logan Thomas was out for training camp. So, if people are wrong and Cole Turner is going to play more than we think, which I think is going to happen, and DeJuan, clearly you think that too, but I think Eric Bieniemy is too smart not to see that Cole Turner needs to be on the field. So if we're right and he does play more, and clearly he has a rapport with Sam Howell dating back to the preseason, I think that's something we could take advantage of. And he's only 2,500. If he randomly scores a touchdown, I mean, you're looking pretty good. Maryland, 3rd and goal at the 2. I mean, can they not punch this in? Watching the Reds right now, my wallet and heart need to come back in the bottom of the ninth. Yeah, Jared, no kidding, huh? I ended up cashing my Reds bet out like a long time ago. I don't know. Whenever we were talking about it on stream, I think it was like right after the All-Star break, they were actually offering like decent cash out, so I just took it. But I have been following along with that. 4th and goal at the 1 for Maryland. Can they not get the ball in the end zone against Charlotte? I mean, what are we doing here? Do you ever 150 max? I've done it a couple times in my life. I've done it. I like to do it on Christmas Day NBA. I've done it a few times, and one football slate I did it, but not really my game. I think that people that do that, a lot of people make the excuse like, oh, if I could play 150 lineups, like I would just win. That's not true. 150 max is definitely its own skill set. It definitely takes some time to learn how to do it. Not the act of doing it, but learn how to get your exposures right and just build smart lineups. And then, I mean, late swapping 150 lineups is a whole other thing in itself. So it's very time consuming. I think there's an edge if obviously you know what you're doing, but there is no guarantees in DFS. There's no guarantee. Okay, Maryland scored. Thank you. So I've done it a few times, but it's not my game. I prefer to play the higher dollar, smaller field tournaments, and that's where I've had my success. I did break even once on a Christmas NBA slate, 150 max, so I consider that a victory. Quentin Johnston for flex, Topper Harley. I do not like Quentin Johnston. We'll see how he looks on the field. I don't know. I don't think he's going to start. I don't know how much he's going to play. I think Josh Palmer is going to play ahead of him, and I think they're going to roll Josh Palmer, Keenan Allen, and Mike Williams in 3 wide receiver sets. So, we'll see. I'm sure he'll get on the field at some point, but Josh Palmer rested the entire preseason while Quentin Johnston played. Obviously, Quentin Johnston's a rookie, so they wanted to see him, but Josh Palmer rested the entire preseason, which tells me that he is, a starter. So I don't know how much Quentin Johnston will be playing, and I probably wouldn't play him tomorrow. If you're 150 maxing or something, you could maybe put him on a few, but I don't like him as a player that much. I think he's overrated, and I don't know how much he's going to play early in the season, so I would not be playing him. I think Mike Williams is a really good play tomorrow, Topper. I think people will be scared off of his on-paper matchup against Xavier Howard, as Matt brought up to me. If you go back and watch their game against Miami last year, Mike Williams had his way with Xavier Howard. I don't know. Mike Williams is a beast, and even if you think Xavier Howard plays him tight, Mike Williams is like the best contested catch guy in the NFL. So, I think Mike Williams in the mid 5Ks definitely has a ceiling. He has big playability. I think that he's going to benefit from Kellen Moore throwing the ball down the field more. So I think Mike Williams is a really good tournament play. Thanks for that info. Yeah, look, I could be completely wrong, but I mean, I'm reading the tea leaves that Josh Palmer didn't play a preseason snap. So that tells me that he's pretty important. And at least in the first few weeks of the season, I definitely think you're going to see more Josh Palmer than Quentin Johnston. Maybe Quentin Johnston's role, I'm sure, will grow as the season goes on, but I wouldn't want to play him in week 1. Thoughts on DeAndre Hopkins? If you're playing a car stack, I think you could play the DeAndre Hopkins on the opposite side. I probably wouldn't want off him. I think it would be in a stack only. But we'll see. We'll see how he looks. There's been I know obviously the quarterback situation was terrible for him last year, but there are DeAndre Hopkins' washed rumors floating around. So we're gonna find out early this season. What's going on. Is Dobbins cash playable? I don't think so. I think you would definitely want to play on DraftKings. Kenneth Walker is a much better cash play, I think, than Dobbins. But for tournaments, I think Dobbins is a good play, but would not play him in cash. I think it's Kenneth Walker and the cheap guys. Are you confident in Godwin with Baker Mayfield as his quarterback? I'm more confident in Godwin than Mike Evans because I don't really think Baker is a deep ball guy at this point in his career. I do think that Baker is a first read quarterback. Chris Godwin typically is the first read in their offense, or at least the last version of their offense that we saw last year. So I like Chris Godwin. I think he's fine. I think he's a good play. I don't think I'd want off him, but I think if you're playing a Baker stack or if you're playing a Minnesota stack and looking for someone on the other side, Godwin would definitely be my pick over Mike Evans. Baker for MVP. I don't know if he's going to win MVP, but I do think I have a bet on the Buccaneers plus 6.5 tomorrow. I think the Bucs can definitely win that game. In fact, I hope they win that game. So, because I'm sure there's people in survivor pools that are taking Minnesota for some reason because they're 6-point favorites. So, I hope the Bucs win tomorrow. Get to Baltimore on defense. There's another defense you'd play. On FanDuel, I think you could play Baltimore defense for sure. DraftKings, very rare that I would consider playing a defense as expensive as them. Washington's going to be mega chalk as a defense. So for cash, you just play them, move on. Tournaments, there's some other teams around there I think you can pivot to. I think Seattle's interesting in particular. Dameon Pierce a good start versus Ravens. I checked last year. Ravens are bad versus run. For tournaments, I think Pierce is fine. If you want to put him in there, I mean, you could play the angle that you think Houston keeps that closer than the 10 points or 9.5, whatever the line is. So if you play that angle, you think they keep it closer. Dameon Pierce, you could mini stack him. Like you could do a Dameon Pierce, Zay Flowers, something like that. I don't hate it. But you can take a tournament shot at Dameon Pierce. Someone said Alabama scored. Who scored? Who was it? I'm trying to find that game on here. UCF took the lead. That's huge. We like that. We love that, actually. We just need Texas to lose by 7. I don't care if they win the game, I guess. Thoughts on Calvin Ridley? Yeah, I talked about him a little bit. I think he'll be popular. I think for tournaments, if you're playing Lawrence, I like him. If you're one-offing, I think I like ETN more as a one-off, but obviously you would want Ridley in a stack. I think Texans defense may be a good tournament play. I mean, that would be like a Millie Maker type play for me, but you can play any defense any single week in tournaments because it's so extremely random. Are you playing a cheap chalk wide receiver in cash? Is Washington D the chalk? Yeah, Washington D is definitely chalk. Cheap chalk receiver. I'll play one of the 3K guys. I just don't know which. I'm assuming I'll play Mims, but I mean, if we got news that Judy was playing or something, I obviously would not play Mims in that instance. So that would be like a late swap choice, but tentatively, I will probably play Marvin Mims in cash games on DraftKings. Do you post bets? Yeah. So if you guys have Bet Karma Premium, you'll get my betting card. I have a few bets posted already. I'll probably add some in the morning. We'll see. I'm going to add an anytime touchdown parlay in the morning because FanDuel's giving a boost on that. So definitely going to do one of those with the boosted odds. But if you have BetCarma Premium, you get all the tools and you also get my betting card. I have been absolutely smashing college football betting, and I'm not trying to sound cocky because typically that's not my thing, but I can't deny the fact that I have been absolutely dominating college football the last week. And if anyone was signed up and tailed my bets for college football for the last 5 days, you have easily paid off your subscription because we hit Florida State money line as plus money. We hit two-teamer as plus money last week. We hit a 2-unit on Kansas last night. We are going to win all or all but one of my bets today. So it's been a really good week. What rookie wide receiver do you expect to have the biggest week one performance? I would probably say Zay Flowers, but Jaden Reed is up in that combo as well. Johnston, I think you can count out. Cedric Tillman, I think you can probably count out. So you're down to Jackson Smith-Njigba, Jordan Addison, Zay Flowers, Jaden Reed. Those are like the 4 guys. Marvin Mims, 5 guys. So there's 5 guys I think you could really consider. I guess you could throw Puka in there as well just because Cuff's out, but it's probably those 5 guys and you're choosing between them. JSN's definitely the sleeper of the bunch because if he is actually fully healthy and is going to play full snaps, he could definitely smash. But off the top of my head, probably Zay Flowers. I would probably rank them for tournaments. Zay, Addison. For tournaments, I would rank them Zay, Addison, JSN, Jaden Reed, Marvin Mims. But Jaden Reed gets a bump up if Dobbs is out. Thank you helps a lot because I've been back and forth on whether or not to play one of those 3K guys. Yeah, I think it's the smart thing to do for cash on DraftKings. Just do it. I mean, they only need like one play. Like Marvin Mims is like a deep threat, and you know, I don't know. It's gonna be Marvin Mims or Jaden Reed, and it's gonna depend on if Dobbs is out, honestly. But Marvin Mims and Jaden Reed are the type of player that I think like Jaden Reed's gonna play in the slot, but he also like if Dobbs is out, if he gets like 5 catches. I don't want to say 5 catches. If he gets like 4 catches, like you'd probably be feeling pretty good. I don't know how much Green Bay's going to throw the ball. They could come out and just run the ball. That also reminds me, Aaron Jones is definitely in the cash game tier on DraftKings. I just haven't had any builds with him. Kenneth Walker's right there for 6K. I think that's a decision. Kenneth Walker versus Aaron Jones if you're going that route. But I don't know. I'm still building my lineup. I haven't made any final decisions. Texas scored again. Who scored? Someone let me know who scored for Alabama and who scored for Texas, please, in the chat. Somebody. Minnesota is up. Somehow Charlotte. Oh, okay, they only have 14. All right, Maryland's got the ball back. They need to go down the field to score here. Wisconsin's just a disgrace. This team always. I didn't even bet on him, but I kind of liked them season long. I thought they were going to be decent. Just classic Wisconsin. Like what a debacle. What a debacle. UCF still up. Would prefer them to get a stop here. No love for Akers. He's 20% owned. I don't think there's any chance Cam Akers is 20% owned. Maybe some companies like pumping up Cam Akers, and he is, but I don't see how Cam Akers could be higher owned than Kenneth Walker, Raheem Mostert, Jamal Williams. I don't know. I don't see how Cam Akers is higher owned than those 3 guys, but maybe I'm wrong. I think Cam Akers is fine for tournaments. You could run back a Geno team with Cam Akers, I think, if you want to be really unique, but I have legitimate questions about this Rams team. I think their offensive line is bad. They're going to be in Seattle, which is not a great environment to play in. I think their offensive line stinks. I think their defense stinks. And there's a very real chance that they get down early. And if they get down early, I just don't know if I can't say definitively that would help Cam Akers. I think that there's a chance he loses pass down work to Kieran Williams. And I just don't know. I think there's too many unknowns for me when it comes to Cam Akers. If you want to run back a Geno team with Cam Akers, you can do that. But I mean, for tournaments, give me Travis Etienne over Akers. Give me J.K. Dobbins over Akers. Give me Rachaad White over Akers. Give me Alexander Madison over Akers. There's a lot of guys I would play over him. And there's too many question marks, especially just around the team itself. I don't know how good they are. So if you run it back with a passing option, that mitigates my concerns about the team sucking because, for example, Puka's 3K, so he's really not going to hurt you. And Tyler Higbee is going to lead the team in targets, and he plays tight end, which is a pretty low scoring position anyways. So I know you were just asking the question, but G Townsend, what's your case for Cam Akers if you're still in the chat? I'm curious because I guess your case would be that very well said. Yeah, and look again, if you guys watch me in the past 5 years, I've done this. I'm never claiming to be 100% right, and I will always admit if I'm wrong. But I really think this Rams team is not going to be good, and if there's a chance that he loses pass game work, I can't play him as a 5-point road underdog in, one of the, I mean, Seattle's legitimately one of the toughest places to play, I think. So I don't know. I think Madison and Rachaad White both in that game in the dome that could shoot out. I like both of them more. And ETN I think is interesting. I don't think many people will play ETN, and that game's up to 46.5 total. Would you play Taysom Hill this week along with Jamal Williams? Jamal Williams, cash only for me. Tournaments, Taysom Hill, I think you can play him at tight end, yes. I don't hate it in tournaments. Cash, I would not play him, though. Would you play Dobbins over Akers in GPP season-long league? Yes, I would, Jared. Dobbins is a great play. I mean, big home favorite. He's healthy for what seems like the first time in forever. So, yeah, these are the spots you like Dobbins. Picking between Olave and Ridley is going to be the death of me. Matt Tuller, that is a tough one. I agree. I think for tournaments, it's Olave. I mean, I know everyone's wheels up on Calvin Ridley, and I'm not saying Calvin Ridley's a bad play. I think that it's a really, really good matchup, and he looked to the part in training camp. But at the same time, the guy has not played a real NFL game since 2 years ago, and that has to account for something. Like the fact that he hasn't played football in 2 years does make a difference. I'm not saying he's going to have a bad game, but I mean that is a factor in my opinion. I'm trying to see. So I do think Olave will be lower owned. So I think for tournaments, it's Olave, but it's super close, Matt. I don't disagree. Burton for Bama, Mitchell for Texas. Oh my God, Bones! Did you see that parlay? I think I had Mitchell in that parlay, didn't I? I had Quinn Ewers 200 plus passing yards. I had Mitchell touchdown. and I had McClellan touchdown. We got to get McClellan in the end zone somehow here. I think the chances of that are going down though. Damn, we got to get McClellan in the end zone. I can't believe Mitchell actually scored. Damn, we need to get McClellan in the end zone. I was on him early in the week, but I agree that if Seattle comes in hot and Ramsey is bad, time possession. Yeah. So I don't want to talk you off him, but if you're only playing a few teams, I think it's tough to play Cam Akers. If you're playing like 20 max, you can definitely, have Akers on a couple. But if you're like me, like I only play at most 5 teams, so it would be tough for me to click Cam Akers, I think. Leaning Olave just because the Titans defense is very good. Yeah, it's a super pass funnel spot, Matt. And look, everything is pointing to just an absolutely massive season for Chris Olave. Like just absolute eruption. And if anything, I think Michael Thomas being back will help him because it takes at least some attention away from him. Bama just threw a pick. Texas scored a couple plays later. Oh, okay. Yeah, 27-16. Well, I mean, that plus 7.5 is free cash. But we just need to get McClellan in the end zone somehow to cash the same game parlay. What were the odds on that? Let's take a look here. Plus 758. We're going to hit a plus 758 if we just need Jace McClellan in the end zone. One time, Jace McClellan. Dan, I've been on here for almost an hour. My God. All right, if you guys have any further questions, I will be in the Discord tonight. I will be going live right here on YouTube again tomorrow, 11 a.m. I'll be answering all your guys' questions, survivor pools, season long, DFS, sports betting, prop picks, whatever you guys got. I will be going live tomorrow, 11 a.m. We're going to be doing this show weekly in the Discord if I can figure out how to fix it. So this week was on YouTube, but I want to do it in the Discord. I'm a boomer and I couldn't get it to work. On FanDuel, there's a 2v2 with Hurts, Ridley versus Lawrence Keenan. I think it's first one for sure. G Townsend, Hurts, Ridley, 100%. Wow, Mark Andrews, we just got the rat bomb. Mark Andrews not likely to play. Ravens tight end Mark Andrews, who has dealt with a quad injury for the last few weeks, listed as questionable, is not likely to play. Isaiah Likely, definitely in cash for me. That also heightens the chances that I use Jaden Reed. So, I don't know. Musgrave versus Likely is close, super close. I'm gonna debate it. I'll let you guys know tomorrow morning's show at 11 a.m. I'll let you know for sure who I'm playing. But my initial lean, I'm gonna play Likely at tight end, and then I have the whole 1 o'clock game hour to decide if I want to play Mims or Jaden Reed in cash. But I already wanted to play Jaden Reed anyways because I think he's really good. And if you guys didn't know, Jaden Reed is from Chicago, grew up in Chicago. Homecoming game for Jaden Reed in his first ever game tomorrow in Chicago. Homecoming game. You're the best. I appreciate that, Jared. Thanks, Ben. Good luck. Yeah, good luck to you as well. Like I said, 11 a.m. tomorrow. I'll be back. We'll talk about things. Core plays for subscribers will be up tomorrow as well. Prop picks will be up tomorrow as well. Might be adding a few bets. We'll see. Have a good night. Hopefully you cash your bets. We have one other bet going later tonight, over 69.5 USC Stanford. So if you guys want a late night sweat, grab that. You can sweat along with us in the Discord. But good luck, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.